Howdy, 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 everybody. This is Ryan Acid Murphy coming to you with a live working on video game video. I don't know if I'll be making this a regular thing. I just felt like doing it, so I thought, what the hoo-ha, what the way, what the hoo-hey, what away, bitty bay. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just muttering at this point. Rambly. So, yeah, I'm working on one of my RPG Maker games because I like RPGs. Um, so this software suits me to a T. It suits my skill set, which is more in the writing, music department than programming. Or, I can do graphic editing, but I'm not very good at actual creation of graphics. So this software just suits me. That's why I use it. And I've always got lots of different projects running at any given time. I think I've got like 3 games I've been working on off, because I tend to get not bogged down, but burnt out working on one thing for too long, especially the bigger projects. Not that this game that I'm working on isn't going to be decent size and length, but I had a good idea, and I wanted to try to get the game finished by Halloween time, because it's going to be a dark RPG. Not necessarily horror, but definitely dark. It's called The Grimstone. So, the basic premise behind the game is similar to other games that I make, because I always like to take the classic RPG stuff and then put my own twists into it. Because those are the games I grew up with, Nintendo RPGs, Super Nintendo era RPGs, Quest 64. Probably my favorite one of all time is Planescape Torment PC game. It's one of my all-time favorites. I really enjoyed the Shadowrun RPG. I've played lots of them over the years, and I also collect pen and paper RPG books. I'm quite fond of Shadowrun, the World of Darkness setting, Rifts. It's the Palladium setting, which is the same company that puts out Rifts, Palladium books. Battletech, MechWarrior, of course. Big Eyes, Small Mouth, I think, is an interesting one. Dungeons and Dragons, of course. There's loads of really interesting pen and paper RPGs out there. I love the books, because a lot of them, they have such gorgeous artwork. The stories in them are quite interesting at times. The rule systems I find interesting, and in the storytelling sections for the game masters, I learned so much from reading all that stuff. I have learned so much from reading those. So I've been a long-time fan of the RPG format, so as I was saying, I like the classic type of RPG games. I'm not fond at all of like the story-driven, what they call story-driven, or stuff like that Undertale doesn't appeal to me, really. I like the classics. Adventurer or a group of adventurers going out and doing quests, and if not saving the world, saving themselves, or trying to uncover some mystery or something to that effect. Having an adventure, and going exploring. See what'll happen to you along the way. That's the stuff I like. So Grimstone is going to be in that same genre of RPGs. But the twist that I'm playing with is that the group, they're not really villains, but they're not very nice people. They're not good people, really. And they're also not going to be the only adventuring party going after the goal in question either. Which is kind of a cliche or trope, is that for some reason the group that you're playing as are the only ones who can save the world. Well, in this case, it is kind of a save the world scenario, but it's also kind of the whoever does manage to save the world wins the kingdom sort of a thing. Although that's not exactly the prize. I'm not going to give too much of the story away. But, yeah, I wanted to take some classic tropes, as they're called now. Storytelling elements is a perfectly valid name for them. And, twist them a little bit. So, this video, mostly what I'm going to be doing, I might chit-chat a bit here and there. I'm going to put on some of the music I made for this game. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 tracks I've finished for it already. Because making music, I use things like generators, MIDI generators and stuff, because I suck at composition, I'm not going to deny that. So I'll use generators, and then I do all sorts of stuff with what they generate. So all the instruments, I choose the instruments, I rearrange things, I rearrange notes, I rearrange song structure, composition. I use what I generate as a starting point. So, but it does speed things up, because I don't sit there for ages and ages and ages trying to plunk away and figure out every single little note. Especially for something like game music, which I'm not saying it shouldn't be good or doesn't need good composition. That's certainly not true. But it's mostly there as background and to add atmosphere, and I'm very good at doing atmosphere. And a lot of that is in effects and notes. The notes, because I always choose the notes. I always, choose the keys and whatnot. Minor, major, I know all that. I know enough song or music theory to do that stuff. I just suck at composition. I need a starting point, is what I'm saying. Once I have something to work with, I can very quickly make something out of it. So anyway, I've got 19 tracks to work with, already done, pretty much. Some of them might need a little tweaking here and there, EQing and whatnot, but for the most part they're done. So I'm going to have those playing in the background while I work on this cityscape map. This one is called Bloody Mary. Of the 19 different tracks, I'm not going to tell you the titles as they come up, but I will tell them all to you now. There's Bloody Mary. I suppose I can bring this up and just leave it over here. It's kind of in the way. View. Layout. Bloody Mary, and there's all the titles and whatnot. You should be able to see it. This should allow me at least to... Nope, that won't work, because every time I click in here and do anything, it's just going to make that cool. Not so much for that idea. Not give me much room to work with. Yeah, I like to use Hubble images as my backgrounds. Alright. So when I start working on a new large map, I'm using the FSM Town of Small Beginnings pack like to do is that I'll just start with solid color, and then I'll just go through and basically just do this sort of thing. Because this is a fairly large map. It's 58 by 56 squares. So it's pretty good size. Alright, so then what we'd want to do is towns tend to form on a main street, a crossed main street, so that's always a good place to start. So that gives us a starting point here. Let's kind of do a curving sort of thing. Gives us something else to build. That gives us basically the roads that people are going to use. And then once we get in some buildings, which we're going to do this way, so this is going to be a city, so we needed to have some decent size. This one is called Moonlight Forest. Maybe I will go ahead and it's that one. I'm trying to, the best way when you're working on a big map like this is that you want to start at the top and work your way down in RPG Maker because of the layering. So there are a couple of different ways you can do this. So let's go ahead and figure we want for a good sized city, because this is your starting city the game starts off in, and a lot is going to happen here before you really get into the the traditional RPG stuff. Again, kind of that influence of Planescape Torment, because so much of that game happens within one city. Sigil. But use this tool. So we probably would go ahead and want at least an inn, and then shops. You're gonna want like an inn. I don't know about a bar, because you'd have both. You'd have a bar, I suppose. Makes sense. And then there will be all these other shops, magic, armor, weapons, and all that good junk. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of start off with a few different. Make this kind of a low building like that. And what I like to do is just kind of alternate between these and then move around the map as I make the buildings. That way you get some variety. of course, not all of these buildings are things that we'd be able to go into. That's not the point. Okay, I know how I want to do this. Go ahead and make one building like this over here. And then you can do that. Alright, that's right. There we go. Creating, like I said, you create layers just this way. Create a building like that. Go ahead and make another one over here. Then make a building like this. And I should have done the roof too on that one. We can go ahead and do right click, drag the whole thing. That to have a roof. There. Do that, and then you can go over. The shift key, and you're copying and pasting. Very simple. And we create layers. You know, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but it makes your maps look a bit more alive, I think. Euphoria be battle music. Make this kind of this first. Examine that, make sure it looks right. Yeah, there we go. looks more like there's could be space in there. And you can even simulate that by creating areas of through so that they can walk through here, and it looks like it's behind they're behind the building. But you don't have to get. The idea is just to get some layers going on and make the buildings look a little bit more alive. Dynamic. One building with like a little front door. Actually, extend that out like that, which is really strange. Shop in there or something. So now, alright. So now we've created our first batch of buildings. Go ahead and get in and start doing the next. And go ahead and copy that one. This one is called, this is the title music, Brimstone title. Oh, this is the battle mix for title music. Shadows in as long as they make sense. Dark battle music. Really inventive title, that one. Don't forget, we want to leave some space here for the possibility of getting into these buildings. Copy that one. actually go anywhere yet. I'm just going to make a door. This just gives us something to work with for the time being. We also need smaller doors, so we'll go ahead and go with the built-in stuff, which this one is Lake Grief. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there, but whatever. Go right over here. Alright, I think everybody's got a door. This one doesn't. But we may not give them a way to get in there. I suppose we can go ahead and give one there. Alright. So that gives us doors for everybody. Gives us a path up to the door. Then what we can do is go ahead and create some yards. For some of them. Okay, that's wrong. Yeah, that'll work. Basically, you got these two guys. They've got their own yards. Not everybody's going to have one. Or a good one. Living space. Give the idea that these places are actually homes or businesses. This area is kind of crowded, so we're not going to put anything there. Over here, I think we might make into a park area. Okay, so this is like an apartment building blocks. Let's say that it has quite a bit of land. This area is also kind of crowded, but say maybe that whoever this is, they've got themselves a nice yard over here, but nobody else does. So we got this area right here. Again, we can say that whoever owns this right here has some cash. They got themselves a little bit of a yard over here that they can work with, but nobody else in this area does. And expect an inn to have stables. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Starting to get an overall feel that this is a space. So let's go ahead and make a kind of a path that goes through this area. And scattering around some wildflowers. That into a cemetery, I suppose. Yeah. I like the idea of it being a park. You can go ahead and throw in some trees. Work better that way. Let's see. Some public wells. These are other places that would get a lot of foot traffic. floor over here. Something I can move the platform there, like for public speaking sort of thing, or sitting down. Chairs that can be friends, benches. So we can put some benches in over here. This is an area that people go for, like, maybe music. This is the circle of virulent sadness. There's no easy way to get over there. We do have some open areas over here. So what we could do. I'm trying to decide if we should have some open stalls or stuff out here. I mean, this is a city, I mean, likely to have an open air market, so that's not unusual at all. sure what they'd be selling. We don't need to worry about that part yet. Just working on Greenville, if they call it in movies. So let's go ahead and get some windows. I didn't use these because they're a bit trickier to use. But I like this stuff more for a smaller town. Not only because it makes it easier to use them correctly and not have stuff overlapping too much and breaking the appearance of the place, but it also helps to give smaller places a more unique look to them. Because what I'll probably end up doing is taking this and recoloring all these three rows, just recolor them in a few different ways, and that way each town can have its own look. This one's called Nightmare Music. Every place needs some shit. Mostly when you get to bigger buildings. Get that too. I like having some of the smaller ones. Here we go. That's what I thought that it had smaller ones. Let's go. Get away with the full size. interpret that title however you like. A house of potatoes. That in the middle of the town. Pretty much makes the most sense. Let's see. Let's see, man, that is the churchy type place. Well, that's real technical. Churchy type place. Let's see. I've added some depth to it. Up here in this area, we can continue breaking up some of the space. Because once you have your houses and things, the next step you want is to break it up. Because you see how we went from what big open space at the very beginning, then we added in the road. Then we started adding in the houses, which are very blocky, and then we added in some fences that breaks it up a bit. Then we add in the footpaths, which helps break it up even more. Then everything, it's just about breaking up the blockiness of it, which we can further do by using Yan Flight's Doodads plugin, which I will do, but on my own time, because that's very tedious to work with, because you do it in the game. Game testing window, basically. As you'd expect some well-to-do people to do, to actually have, I should say. That does not look correct at all. That works. Alrighty. And we can also have some street lights here along the thoroughfare. this is like an old-timey medieval-esque town. See, my RPG settings I never actually do. They're like they're supposed to be medieval settings. It's always I pretty much always do it as if they are actual modern settings, but with fantasy worlds. Like my Quinip setting I've talked about before in other videos. The Citadel Market is based in that setting. They understand the concepts of things like electricity and steam power, and even they have physics and they have this knowledge, but the setting itself, because magic accumulates and it likes other forms of power, so it accumulates at those forms of power, so you can't have motor engines. They understand how to make a motor engine. They could do, people have tried, but the combustion attracts magic energy, which causes, so they just can't do it. Now this is more for, this setting is just for this game, and I'm developing it as I go. So it doesn't have quite that much of shall we say, explanations for things, but just generally speaking, I like to do settings where like I said, it's not like they're supposed to be in medieval times, which I think is a misconception that some people have with fantasy in general. Like, oh, it's in medieval times, but it has magic and dragons and stuff. Like, no, not necessarily. You know, fantasy settings are their own things. They exist in their own context. So one of the things I hate about guys like that Martin that did the Game of Thrones books, he complains about fantasy settings not being more like actual medieval history. Well, they're not actually based on real medieval history. You know, the whole knights in shining armor thing really was just a blip in history. Because, and castles as well. Because, castles have existed for a long time, and for a long time they were seats of power. But when you get to the time when they were building what people think of when they think big castles, for the most part, is when gunpowder weapons are starting to come into play. Because you have to keep in mind that gunpowder weapons started finding a way into Europe in the 1500s, if not earlier. So, the whole idea of medieval times and knights in shining armor and all that stuff didn't really last very long anyway. So, like, fantasy and sci-fi even draw on all sorts of different sources. They're not meant to be realistic. They're not trying to be.
So that a small slip-up doesn't turn into a big trip-up.
It's kind of like the Wild West. People seem to think that the Wild West must have been a substantial portion of American history, but it really wasn't. It only lasted from like the end of the Civil War to the early 1900s. We're talking only like 30-some years. I mean, that's the weird thing about Wild West history, is that some of the guys who the big stories are about, like Wyatt Earp, were alive to actually write their own stories in the 1900s. Wyatt Earp was one of them. He was his own best promoter. Buffalo Bill, traveling show. Wild Bill and Annie Oakley. It was a show. It's kind of hard to say what Buffalo Bill actually did, and what was just part of the show, what was bullshit that they cooked up to sell tickets. Nobody wants, there was no, Wild West, sticking with that. There were never any shootouts at high noon that anybody knows of. Most of the, whether you want to call them cliches or tropes of Wild West movies, Western movies, are just pure fantasy. But who in the hell would really want a Western without them? What would be the point? It's like, they exist because they're fun, they work, they're cool in their own way. Like I said, who in the hell would want a Western that doesn't have a shootout? Even if that never didn't really happen, like in the movies at all. I'm sure there were gunfights, there were definitely gunfights, but like the gunfight at the OK Corral lasted less than a minute in real life, I think. It was over very quickly. But that's not fun. If you're gonna do a movie or like the live show at this, they actually do there at the OK Corral. They turned it into a big drama, an action-based drama. So that's what people want. Reality is overrated at times. There's some things like human behavior I'm a stickler for when it comes to realism, but there's plenty of stuff that reality is just boring. All right, so let's get back to this map. Let's go down here. Fit in another stall over here. Maybe. Yeah. I think this is actually a pretty nice map right now. I mean, it looks like a city where people are living. We're going to have all kinds of NPCs wandering around. Some of them will just be in the backyards that you can't interact with. There'll be some out on the street wandering around. Standing around, people going about their tasks. It's a nice city escape. Just trying to think. Is there really anything else with this set of this tile set? Things over here. Alright. That wouldn't block that. That makes sense, though. Again, what I'm doing here is giving the illusion of depth by doing this stuff. Let me show you right up here. So, there's this tree right here. So, the layering, I can put that in, put that in. Then I can put in, so, again, it gives the idea that there's depth. There's stuff. This isn't just a big brick you can't walk through. There's actually things behind it. So, go ahead and do that. And that doesn't work. Because that's terrain. That's considered terrain, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't work. Well, you can maybe do it this way. Let's try that doesn't work. Unless I'm just not sure of how I can do it. I could put it in as tiles instead of with this. It's not that big of a deal. We're doing alright. It's just the buildings. Desiccated innocence. That's what I'm talking about. They've taken this otherwise very blocky looking structure right here and giving it a sense that there's stuff around it, behind it. It's just useful. It's a way to, break things up. It's not every single one needs audience. Alright. So that gives it, a pretty nice looking cityscape to work with. And like I said, it is important that this one actually be pretty substantial. Obviously, they don't all need to be this big. Here's another thing that's actually realistic. Kind of basing them on the oldie days. A little bit of trivia. Ye isn't a Y. Ye oldie, shopping, that sort of thing. That isn't a Y. It's just how they wrote the TH sound back in those times. So it actually, the E is silent. So just the old shop. It isn't pronounced as ye oldie shopping. It's just the old shop. You didn't see anything like that. It's just the old whatever. But back in the ye oldie days, it was very common that towns would probably just be like one street, or maybe a crossroad street like this one, with some farms and maybe a pub and a few other businesses and things, and like probably a church or a monastery or something close by, often near a river. And then there would be farms scattered all throughout the area, and then most of the population of the town would be supporting the farms in some way. If you've ever seen Little House on the Prairie, very much like that, the actual town would mostly be populated by stores and store owners, and those stores would be there to support the farms in the area. So it's not actually unrealistic that towns in RPG games are small. Obviously, the game development reason is because if you don't have something in all the buildings and whatever, why bother making it? Personally, I think that even if you're not going to have it to where people can go inside buildings, having them there like this, I mean, it looks like a town. It looks like a place where people live. Even if you can't go in every single damn house and whatnot. You don't need to be able to. You just need to be able to see them. Just like in the real world, you can't go in most of the buildings that you see in any given city. Even a lot of businesses, you need appointments and whatnot. So long as you can see that there's something there. And we've actually made it all the way through the music that I've produced for the game so far, and I think we're pretty good on this this map. I am a very compulsive saver. I'll just keep on clicking on save for no particular reason. I don't know why. It's a compulsion. I need to stop. I want to do it again. Music. Just kind of looking around, see if there's anything else I want to add in right now. I think we're pretty good. Probably go ahead and do some of the shops. So, let's see. I didn't really make a big building that would be an inn. I suppose I could just go ahead and have this be the inn instead of the apartment complex. So, item shop. Yes, because every town has an item shop. that's funny. Spell shop. I think I'm gonna be able to buy some stuff early on. This one will work. I think, yeah, this one has some space. Flames. Most of this is indoor stuff. It's more of an oven than a foundry. That's for cooking. Huh. Doesn't really look good either. Using stuff from all of these, so I can't just remove any of them. Guess I could make in an indoor forge. They usually do have roofs, and whatnot. Wouldn't necessarily be close to the bar. This one would probably work. Kind of do this. It's a lot of ventilation needed for this one. So, put that there. Blacksmith shop. Swords and armor. What is this supposed to be? Shields? Guess it's supposed to be shields. Be the place next door where they make shields then. Sure. Why the hell not? A little place where you can buy potions and whatnot. Anyways, now we've nailed down some of the locations. The buildings, yes, we know where the buildings are now. Damn, I lost those buildings. Stop it. The businesses. There we go. Stop it. Alright. Alright, so yeah, nice cityscape that looks like someplace where people actually live and work. A city. So there you go. That's how you can basically go from nothing to a pretty good looking cityscape. As long you have some good looking tile sets. I highly recommend the FSM packs. I really hope that they put out a new one. I'm really hoping they put out another one. I really am. Really am. I'm kind of hoping for dungeon stuff for the next one, but winter stuff would be cool. Frozen stuff, frozen in winter stuff. Dungeon would be my preference because I would love to have some more underground dungeon-y type stuff to work with in the FSM style. Yeah, I really am hoping that whoever puts that stuff out, I'm really hoping that they put out a new pack soon. Because it's really nice looking stuff. I mean, it works with the base game stuff just fine. It still works together but it still has its own look to it. It's a bit sharper, less cartoony, really. Not that I have much of a problem with the cartoony style, the more cartoony style of the base game stuff. It looks fine. This is just, I just like the look of the FSM stuff. I really love the caves and forest pack. That one has some fantastic stuff in it. So I'm really hoping that, yeah, the next one will be winter stuff, or even better would be dungeon stuff. Both of those would be really cool. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Most of the stuff they've been releasing lately has been music packs. I do my own music, so that's not helpful. It's either been that or that one dude that puts out the really small packs. They're always like $10 for stuff that was $5. I mean, I'm not saying the dude's stuff is bad. It's just, to me, $10 for like a couple of sheets, not even very big ones of stuff. $10. I mean, come on, the FSM packs are like 20-some bucks. Like the Caves in the Forest had 4 complete sets, basically. I mean, they weren't all 4 of the extra sheets, but it was close to it. There's a lot of stuff for $20-some. This guy thinks that just a couple of small tiles things is worth 10. I don't know. A bit ridiculous. I think I've talked about the medieval series of stuff, PV games, I think it is. Whoever puts those out, it's nice stuff, but the fact that they don't put anything out to support it is ridiculous to me. Like, because the way those packs are organized, if you want it to actually work right, you need to be able to use a lot more movement types than the base game allows for, so you have to have scripts for that, plugins for that. You have to be able to do diagonal movement. And you need to be able to do custom movement sheets, is how that works. Because the base movement sheet is like, let's see, it's 4x3. You have 3 motion animations for moving up, down, left, and 3 for each. Well, you can use plugins that give you more options. Stop the music. That was getting a bit irritating. It'd be fine for actually in the game, but while I'm trying to talk, it's annoying. So you can do it for like 8 different motions. So if you want to do like diagonal in the 4 different directions, you're adding in 4 more animation motion sets. Or if you want to do things like sitting down, those medieval packs give you loads and loads and loads of animation options, which is awesome. But if you want to actually use it in your games, you have to go to somebody else's plugins to do it, and none of them are currently supported as far as I can tell. And they're also all finicky. You have to actually screw around with them a lot to get them to work properly. And my thinking is, if you're going to release packs of graphics, then you should also support those graphics to make them usable in the game without having to be a huge headache. Okay? They've actually gotten a script made for character generation now, which is something they should have had from the very beginning. Really? And that's cool. I applaud them for that. But also, they need all the plugins that you need to use their graphics packs should be available, and they should be the ones supporting them and making sure that they continue to be updated and still work no matter what RPG Maker and the RPG Maker people do to update the software. Because making it to where people have to rely on somebody else's plugins to use the graphics that they're making is ridiculous to me. I would not mind spending money on their packs to use their graphics, which look really nice, and even spending time on doing the parallax mapping, which I hate doing, because that is not a discipline, just all the parallax mapping is just very tedious and irritating to me. I don't like doing it. But I would be willing to put myself through that crap and spend the money on it and use them, once money was available to do so, of course. I'm not saying I'd go out and buy them all immediately. I can't afford that. But I would be willing to put more money into buying their packs and make a game with their assets that they've created if they actually supported the damn things properly. But they don't. At least not that I've seen. Like I said, if you're going to release stuff that requires plugins to function properly, then you should put those plugins out yourself. You shouldn't rely on third parties to do it for you. Not when it's essential to make the stuff work. See, that's the thing about RPG Maker software in general, having scripts in the older ones, and MV uses JavaScript plugins. That's fine, because then you're modifying the game. But what they're doing is selling graphics packs, and like I said, in order to really use them, you have to have plugins, which they have no reliable way of making sure people can use, because they don't actually have their own plugins, and they don't support their plugins to make sure their graphics packs can be used properly. So, yeah, to me, it's not worth it. They don't support their product properly. Stop it. Okay, so I think that's the end of the stream. Hope you enjoy watching this later. I don't know that I got any viewers in while I was actually recording this. C'est la vie. RPG Maker video community is a niche thing. I am aware. I just did this on a whim because I was going to be working on it anyway, so I thought, what the hell, I'll just record it. And run me little mouth while I work. Stop it. It really is a compulsion. It's kind of stupid, but oh well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoy the video, I hope you can see what I was doing pretty well. I say, tips and tricks stuff. A lot of it is, again, start at the top and work your way down because of the layering. Doing things like having your buildings overlap a little bit here and there, and then doing things like the trees being behind buildings, and trying to keep things from being so blocky. Now, if you want to do like a modern city, then you actually would go with a grid system for the most part, and looking blocky is just how, the modern world is a blocky place, honestly. So you can do that just fine, and it actually looks correct. for a more modern city, but this is more appropriate for a village. Well, a city. An old city. Old-timey city. You know, it doesn't look so blocky. There's a lot of, dynamics, I guess you could say, in the way it looks. Not everything is straight lines. There's lots of things breaking up the spaces. So, like I said, tips and tricks wise, those are my tips and tricks. That's my suggestions for doing things like cityscapes. Try to keep it from looking too blocky unless that's the look you're going for. And then you can do stuff, like I said, with the trees and other thing. Anything that's cell, I guess, multi-square in size, like the trees. These ones are 9, 3 by 3. So it's easy to, take one of the trees and just do this sort of stuff with it. Where was that? No, I lost where it was. Right there. Yeah. I do need to save it again. So yeah, just things like that. So again, it breaks things up and gives the appearance that there's stuff behind the different buildings. Stop it. And then makes it look more like an actual 3D landscape instead of being 2D. That's the most important thing. You want to break it up as much as possible, create depth, and make it seem like a 3D space as much as possible. Because like I said, you can also do things like, see, the way you do it is, let's see, you'd probably need to make this full size, and you can possibly do it. I use GIMP, it's free graphics editing, but possibly do print screen. I'm not sure if that would work. But you'd actually take an image like this right here. Like if I want to be able to get through here, you take an image of this part right here, or actually the entire roof, you could do it. And then make it into a tile set, probably with events would get it done. So what you'd do is you go, let's say we had the tile set made of it. Actually, you could do it on this too, but that sort of thing is easier to do with that stuff because you can set it as tiles and just do this if you want. But yeah, let's see. Gates. So anyway, you'd make it as events like that, and then each piece you would put in there, and then you'd make it as above characters so that they can walk behind it. And then you'd actually get rid of this part of it. You'd just go ahead and remove it. Just get rid of it. Not this one necessarily, but these 5 pieces right here. And then they can just walk right through. That's one way you could do it. Like I said, this stuff, you can do that right in the events as is. That's easy. You could even do it this way. And like, for example, if I wanted to go ahead and do that right now, I can show you. Just to show you what I'm talking about. Go ahead and do this right quick. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. Alright, so we can do that. Back to the windows. This one. There we go. So what we'd do here is, let's see, we need about a 6-bit thing, so we'd go there. Let's see, I can use one of these ones here. Let's see, how's the best way to do this? Yeah, that works. So, not that. We need this piece right there like that, and we want it above characters. Go ahead and copy and paste it. So this one, we want this piece. This one, we want to be this piece. This one, we want to be that piece. I think is about right. Nope, that's not the right one. Let's see then. I don't think that's gonna work either. Nope, because that has the bands going all the way across. Damn. It's not always easy to figure this stuff out, but we can try. Go ahead and put that there, and this one we want this piece. Alright, so starting position player, let's go ahead and see how this looks. This may not work perfectly, but we can try it. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. Oh, that looks fine. There we go. Yep, see? Just like that. And you can do that for your entire town if you want. You know, you'd probably want to create some different sheets of the rooftop stuff. But, yeah, we can kind of zoom around and see how things look. Yeah, I knew that was going to mess it up. I should have done it. Oops. Bad idea. So, yeah. Yep. Alright. Yeah, looks pretty good. Head down here at ground level. You know, you'd also do things like, since this is supposed to be kind of like a nice summer's day, you wouldn't necessarily need to put smoke on every chimney, but for some like the Witchy Poo shop right here, you'd probably want to have some smoke coming out. That's also pretty easy to do. The smithy shop, obviously, you'd want some smoke. See, I need to change some of the tile set settings. But for the most part, it's good. Yeah, you just do stuff like this. Then you can kind of go in and, like I was talking about the steam or smoke. Let's get down here to where the Witchy Poo shop was not going to be, but is. Where are you? You were a bit further up, weren't you? Yeah, there's the Witchy Poo shop. So this is another event. We can go to flame, I believe it's under. It's kind of hard to see on here. Let's see. Problem is that I'm not sure if there's smoke in any of these, and I just not seen it because it's very wispy. We can go over here. Just use this one. And you want stepping direction fix. Put that right there. Go ahead and copy that. And we go ahead and bring it down over here. Actually, delete those. We need to change one thing. Above characters. Above them. Okay, then we can also, let's zoom out here. Start up here at the top. And get right here. And again, you want stepping direction fix above. Okay. And you wouldn't necessarily need to do this, since this is supposed to be like a daytime thing going on here, but just to show you how to do this if you don't know already. Of course, you need the graphics already in your setup to do this properly, but actually cancel. Do that. Then let's see. Because I think you might need 2 to make that work. Where were we at? We were right here. See, I'm not sure about that. No. Should just be 2 that are hanging down, one on either side. These. No. Yeah, these right here. That's it. We didn't have very many of these in here, so that one. There. I think that's it. So that should be right. Bring this back over, start new. Nope, I had them up too high. Silly me. You put them down one. I always forget that it needs to be below, because the graphic is going to raise up. In relation to this one, where the square is. Alright, I think that gets it. Start new. There we go. So now you have you still can walk behind all the lamps, but now they're lit up. So there is a nice plugin that I like to use. I'm forgetting the name of the plugin and its maker though. Kaz, maybe? Light plugin is a really good one. I think that's the name, Kaz. I could be wrong though. I'm blanking. You see, you got the steam rising up there, looking like it's coming out of the. Can't get through there really. Now you can either keep them down or you can raise that up a little bit, but that looks just fine. Okay, I need to change some of the settings on those graphics, and then you got this one up here. You can put the lights on there too, of course. Okay, I need to change the settings for that stuff too. So how you do that, if you're not aware, again, is that I'm on Town of Beginnings outside. So you come in here and you've got the passage things, and then you can also click and right click on these. So that should already be set up correctly. So what I want to do is make it to where you can kind of walk all the way around these smaller trees without doing that. That's what I needed right there as well. You can't walk through the trees, but you can walk around them, like so. That should be good. Let's go over here. Same thing. Passage, cannot walk through them, but you can walk around them. Right here, we want to make it to where you can walk all right through there, but you cannot walk through. Very, very handy ability to be able to change the directions that you can move in and out of spaces in. See, these are already, they already have the star, but now, okay, so yeah, we should have no more trouble getting through the trees, around the trees. See, we can kind of pass underneath them, no problems. See, now we can pass right through there, but we can pass behind the trees, it seems, but that's still not quite right. It shouldn't be allowing that. That's not a big deal. It doesn't look too strange. It really does look like you're just walking right behind the tree, and that's fine. Cannot pass through there. Because, I mean, they're small trees. You should be able to walk around them pretty easily. No problem walking through here now. You can actually get plenty of space to walk through. Big spooky tree. There we go. Get through there now just fine. So there we go. You know, for some people that might look too close, but you should be able to walk right up underneath there. So but that's alright. Let's see. Nope, that's letting me walk through. It shouldn't. Okay. See, sometimes you have to experiment a little and see what will and won't work. That doesn't look right. So I need to come back down here and see, okay, so being able to walk right on those, no. Go ahead and change that. A passage, again, Now, see, that should not be allowing that to go both ways like that. It should not be able to walk. You shouldn't be able to walk through it. Shouldn't allow it. I don't know why it's letting it do that. So let's see if we can make it to where you can at least walk up behind it. See, again, that should not be allowing you to walk through those directions. Just should not allow that. Actually, I see that doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you be able to walk alongside it? See, this is playtesting. This is what you gotta do when you're making a game. If you want to make a game that's any good. Alright, so again, it's just letting you pass through. I don't know why it's allowing that. It should not allow that. See, now that's not letting you go through that way. Now this is letting you pass right through. So that's actually working. But now it screws up because the hat disappears. See, I made it. You should not be allowed to go through that direction. But okay. It's not one to cooperate. Sometimes you just gotta cancel. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and accept that it's not gonna work. Just does not want to cooperate with you. See, now this is letting you go through this way. That's kind of annoying. Again, what's the issue here? It's because I put it like that. Let's see. Like that. There. Let's see if I can get this to cooperate. There's usually a way to accomplish what you want to do. You just have to keep working at it. Nope, it's still letting it go right through. Should not be able to do that. Alright. See, why are you letting it go through? You should not be able to go through there. It should be blocked. Why it'll work one time and then it won't work the next. Oh, still doing it. can't do it there because the bench is in the way. So that is one potential solution, is simply to that causes a bit of a problem. The graphic there starts messing up. Yeah, that is one potential solution. It's a bit strange there. See, I don't necessarily want it to do that. Alright. We've already got something sitting there, so that's a problem. But we can simply make this. Nope, then it wouldn't. You'd be able to walk through on the other side. Let's see. Let's find something we can stick in there. This will do. And on the other side. We just tweak things. Now, cannot walk through there. Cannot walk through there. Still get that graphics glitch on the railing ever so slightly there, but only if you walk in a very specific way. So, had to cheat ever so slightly. Well, say cheat, just kind of play with it a little bit, and we have our result. Like I said, there's usually ways to accomplish what you want, you just have to play with it a bit. Alright, so yeah, there's our town, there's our city, right there. Alright, so I ended up going longer than I had planned to, because I decided to do some tips and tricks type stuff. But there you go. There's a cityscape. Another thing you can do, if you, like I said, if you want to do nighttime type stuff. Let's see. I don't want to try and install that plugin and do the whole thing, but how you would do it is, at least with that plugin, there are note tags that you put in up here, I believe, or you can put them in to the. I think you just put them in the note tags, and that tells it what kind of light it's going to be, and then you'd have a probably like up here somewhere where nobody's going to mess with it. You know, you can't interact with it because they don't need to. You put in an event, you'd do it like right up here, and then it'd be probably plug-in command, and you'd use the command that you need, and then you'd have it as an auto run, and probably use erase event, because that gets rid of it, and so it won't continuously run over and over again until they come back to the map, and then it runs it again and erases it. And then you could have like nice flickery street lamps all over the place, and everything else is. I don't think you should never go completely dark, in my opinion, especially not on cityscapes and stuff. Maybe down in mazes and stuff, but I would never go completely dark on a map because it's just irritating, especially in mazes. I mean, just a maze with no light, you have to try to find your way through the maze with a flashlight or a lamp or whatever. It really isn't a challenge, it's just annoying. It's very, very annoying trying to find your way through something like that, so I wouldn't suggest it. I like to use the lighting plugins for ambience, atmosphere. If I want some place to look gloomy or spooky, or just add to the creep out factor, that sort of stuff. That's what I use lighting plugins type stuff for. I don't like trying to use it as part of mechanics or puzzles or whatnot, because it just never seems to get good results, in my opinion. So anyway, there you have it. There's the cityscape. It's going to be basically the first major questing area that you'll go to, and you're going to meet all your party members here. That's another thing I'm going to do that's a bit different, I think. Not many games give you your entire party right at the start, but like I said, the idea behind the story is that there is a menace that's emerged, and the ruler of the kingdom or the country or whatever. Like I said, I work on the setting as I go with this sort of project. So the powers that be, if you will, have made this offer that whatever party can deal with this threat will be very handsomely rewarded. And the group of adventurers that you're going to be playing as in Grimstone are going to be kind of bottom of the barrel, not nice people type of adventurers. Not necessarily outright, well, some of them are kind of outright villains. And there's also going to be options. You're going to be able to kind of decide how you want your guy, the main character, the little dude with a straw hat. That's the main character. You're going to be able to make choices through the game for all the characters, probably, but especially him. If I don't do it for anybody else, I will definitely be doing it for him. But my plan is to have at least some stuff for each character. There's going to be, I think, 8 characters that are going to be in the game and your party. And they all already have a backstory attached to them. I always work out characters first. That's always one of my top priorities, because then I arrange story and things around them, as it should be. So, yeah, there's going to be story stuff for all the characters. You're going to have choices to make in regards to at least the main character, but hopefully all of them. And that will affect how the game ends for them. Kind of like some of the old movies. People don't seem to do it very much anymore, but especially comedies that would pop up and tell you what happened to them after the movie's over. The fictional, and they went on to become ... sort of things at the end of some comedies. That sort of style is how I'm thinking I want to do it. So the choices you make through the game will determine... I'm stuttering for some reason. That will determine what happens to them after the game's over. After your story that you're guiding them through is done. So that's the plan anyway. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Don't forget to do all that good YouTube junk. Leave a comment, share the video, subscribe, hit the bell. So subscribe so you know when I do other live streams. Is there anything else? Leave a comment is always appreciated. I really appreciate everything else. Views, subscribers, comments, likes. That's the one I think I was forgetting. All that stuff is very highly appreciated. Thank you very much for those of you who do it. And of course, just all the usual YouTube junk. So anything else? I don't think so. I think that covers everything. So, oh, the link's in the description. You can check out my other games on Game Jolt. The link's in the description. You can also find T-shirts, music, and whatnot. Links to that stuff as well as my website and Twitter, all in the description for the videos. And that covers everything. So thanks very much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Bye. Bye.